The Demi Barding, the newest model in the Demi series developed by the Burian company. Although it consists largely of new components designed to the latest standards, the structure surrounding its propulsion unit is identical to the current model. While the specs are unprofitable, the series' characteristic design and excellent maintainability have been ensured. The expandable flight unit pack and various equipment evolving from the Daedalus have been equipped as well. The Demi Barding expands the possibilities of next-generation mobile suits. Well, that's what the manual says about this particular unit right here, but the short answer to what is the Demi Barding is it's the upgrade to the Demi Trainer. And from what we've seen lately in The Witch from Mercury, this has something about it that makes it a little bit special. But when it does come to the kit right here, this is another absolutely awesome Demi suit. These are so different to the other kits that we see in The Witch from Mercury, and this one really has dialed the awesome meter to 11 and has a whole lot going on. Anyway, if you do want one of these of your own, I got mine through Hobby Link Japan, and I will mention, just in case you did not know, The Witch from Mercury might be coming to a close very soon in the next 2 weeks, but we will be seeing another 3-episode Gundam series, which is Gundam Build Metaverse. And all of those kits from that particular upcoming show are on pre-order right now on Hobby Link, so I'll throw a link down there in the description. And as usual, I do recommend pre-ordering early if you want to make sure you get the kit that you're looking for. Anyway, let's get right into the aesthetics. So now jumping into the aesthetics, and the Demi Barding is definitely one unique mobile suit looking really damn cool. Now this right here, the Demi Barding, is essentially just a souped up version of this right here, the Demi Trainer, and this right here, which is CHU-CHU'S own personal Demi Trainer. Now obviously this has been souped up a lot. It is massive in comparison, especially in comparison to the standard Demi Trainer, but there's a whole lot more going on here. But when it does come to the actual model kit itself, a lot is shared in common with those two kits, but a lot is extremely different too. I will also mention between the three of them, the color has been changed quite a bit, with the regular Demi Trainer being completely different, CHU-CHU'S being a little bit more of a yellowy green, and this one right here, while similar, is that little touch darker than CHU-CHU'S one. So as this shares a lot in common with what we've seen before, I assume most things across the board are compatible with what we were looking at. So first off, I'm going to pop off the backpack anyway, just take a closer look at this, leave this till the accessories. But yeah, we've got a standard 2-hole adapter and a single hole as well. This right here is 2 holes, so if you want to pop it onto something else, it should fit, except for that big old block up top, might get in the way. Actually, but yeah, as for across the Demi board, I assume everything else backpack-wise should be oh yeah, they're the exact same backpack. So hardware-wise, these should work together. Now, I'm totally jumping ahead. I want to check the hand compatibility, but I will leave that to the accessories. So when it comes to the silhouette of the Demi Barding, it's amazing what can be done to a mecha just by adding some new aspects here and there in regard to armor. This thing looks absolutely massive in comparison to the standard Demi Trainer and CHU-CHU'S Demi Trainer. So what we've got compared to what we would have seen before is these big old shoulders with new thrusters, new piping. Down at the arms then, these have been increased in bulk. These are squared off instead of the circular look we would have seen with the previous Demi mechs. And down at the legs, we've got some more additional armor and some souped up thrusters on the sides of the legs. Overall, this thing looks ridiculously cool, and this is even without the backpack attached. The head has been remodeled entirely, we've got a brand new sensor up front, and the whole thing just looks a lot more serious. A little bit more armor plating in front of the cockpit. This thing is an absolute monster. Can't wait to see it properly in action. So zooming in a little closer to check out some of the details, and first off, up in the head there we do have some nice clear parts in clear green. These are not just in the front lens right here, but these move all the way around to the back of the head like so. So this is a very interesting design, and I'm assuming gives this mobile suit more of a good panoramic view of what's going on. Moving now to the shoulders, and I did mention these already, but this time I'm going to mention the fact that we've got a pretty rough mold line running up each and every one of these. So that is pretty noticeable on all 4 aspects of these particular pipes. So that is worth noting. Next up then, we do have some absolutely awesome thrusters on the sides of the legs. Now these are pretty much extremely similar to what we would have seen on CHU-CHU'S ride here. Actually, all of the legs are. We've got some new additional armor on the front and ankles. But yeah, but compared to the thrusters we would have seen before, There is a lot more going on these, especially we've got a beam saber handle up top. These do rotate just like we would have seen before, so these go every single direction. These are a very, very nice addition and look powerful. So for the most part, the color accuracy on the Demi Barding is quite good. The vast majority of these are on the shoulders and the chest, and these are usually things that we've been seeing in this line done by having some grey parts coming through from underneath. So this just seems like a little bit of a cut corner. We also have some really, really rough ones up top. Now all of this could have been dealt with by having a grey segment underneath that just goes underneath all of it to come through. So this is definitely the cheapest looking aspect on the Demi Barding. So as for some size comparisons, now we've already seen it beside the standard version of the Demi Trainer right here. There it is side by side with Gundam Aerial, so it is a little bit shorter than that Gundam. The Tiny Thorn, a kit that came out the exact same week, the Gundvolva, Gundam Fract, and finally a Gundam from a different series, Gundam Exia. Jumping now into the accessories, and here's everything that comes with the high-grade Demi Barding. So what we're getting here is the Beam Rifle Plus, a pair of beam sabers, and the absolutely kick-arse Bowery Pack. And a bit of a wire for using with it. When it comes to the hands, we've got these right here, which are those almost Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles looking hands, and about these, well, rewinding back to about 45 minutes ago. So winding back to that time I was talking about hands that totally wasn't filmed right after I just mentioned that, now I'm just sticking it back in later on. You have to buy the hands somewhat separate with these kits. The standard, maybe CHU-CHU'S comes with them, I don't really recall, but there is a Demi weapon set that comes with these nice wide open hands right here. Now the one we're taking a look at today, that just comes with the fists, the holding fists. The Demi Barding right here has new hands which actually have beam Vulcans in the backs of them, so those are molded right there inside of those lines. Those are the beam Vulcans. So I'm just wondering if the back of the hands will fit onto the widespread ones. So the answer to that question is a resounding yes, thankfully. So you can use the widespread hands with the hands of the Demi Barding. So if you get this weapon set right here, you can actually use the widespread hands with your Demi Barding. Next up then in here we've got the Bowery Pack, which is the backpack exclusive to this kit, which is ridiculously cool. First up, this can be attached like we saw before as a backpack, slotting into those two holes just like so, nice and securely. Once that Bowery Pack is attached, this looks absolutely ridiculously good. It's big, it's bulky, and it adds a cool new element, which really does round out the design of the Demi Barding. So from what we've seen so far, it seems like the Bowery Pack has its own pilot, but we haven't seen the actual unit in action just yet. So we do have a lens segment right there, that's just a sticker, but I thought maybe this could rotate round to look to the front, but it cannot. So I guess when this is attached on like so, CHU-CHU herself will be aiming these cannons. So not only can these be swung around over the shoulder, you can actually swing them down underneath as well. There's a little bit of clash of parts, but you'll get this through, no bother eventually, and you've got yourself some cannons underneath what I guess is the robot's rib cage of sorts. So yeah, you can fire from under there as well, and that looks nice, tight and tidy. Looking pretty cool. So that was it attached onto the mecha itself, but we also have this right here, because the Bowery Pack can be used as an independent weapon. So just whipping off the backpack just like so, popping this end of the wire just into that hole like that, nice and secure, holds the wire well, and then this end attaches into this little hole right here in the Bowery Pack. So using that little extra peg, you can get this attached onto an action base. Now the action base I'm using right here, as usual, is the Simple Stand by Good Smile Company. It's my favorite stand to use with high grades, and you just need a little adapter for with it that usually comes with Bandai's own action bases. Now Bandai do recommend their own Witch from Mercury line of action bases for using with this, but I'm just going to go with this for now. This is such a cool little sub unit right here. This is all the articulation that we would have seen before, and it is constantly attached onto the Demi Barding via this wire. This is a cool pairing of suit and subunit. Honestly, I really cannot wait to see what this does in the anime. So next up in here we have the beam sabers. One of mine got mildly bent in the box. I don't mind, it just looks kind of like a nice slashing pose. These are incredibly simple, just a pair of standard little handles down bottom like so. And when you want to attach them into the Barding, it's the usual way. You just pop them in like this, super simple, and like that, also super simple. So yeah, also testing out the reverse grip just in case. That can hold on perfectly too. So whatever way you want to attach them, they will fit. When the beam sabers are not in use, we do have this little hole right here, which they can be attached into just like so on that little thruster segment. There is the other side, popping it in like so, and the ultimate question, can the mobile suit reach them while they're stored? And the answer is yes, yes, it most certainly can. So the last of the equipment we have in here is the Beam Rifle Plus, looking very like the Demi weapons we've seen so far, but this is lacking the modular aspects. Not much is really going on here per se. We've got two segments, this sight segment right there, we do have stickers for the various sights and sensors on that, and then the main body of the weapon like this. Besides that, not much really moves. We do have a handle up top which can move up and down ever so slightly, but for the most part this is a fairly simple beam rifle. So when it comes to attaching the beam rifle, it's both simple and awesome at the same time. So this is one of those cool 2-point attachments. It attaches both into the hand like so, and we do have a slot in the forearm too to make sure we've got that double locking attachment. Now, however, this does mean that you do kind of lose a little bit of the articulation here. Can you rotate this forearm? No. So that does mean you're always stuck with the one angle for this gun because of the attachment form. If you can't really disattach it either, so there is no rotation at the wrist while the weapon is being held onto. So as for that second little handle that is up top that can move up and down ever so slightly, this is so this weapon can be held in two hands. Now I found this a little bit on the awkward side, mainly because it does seem like this can only be done in one particular position. I also did retch out the shoulder a couple of times while doing this because of the style of ball joint on it, but again, when you're doing something like this in front of a camera, it's a big difference than if you're just doing something a little bit closer to your body, so it's probably just me being a little bit on the daft side. But either way, once I got it all together, it does look pretty cool. Like I mentioned, it does seem like you're only going to really get the one position out of this, but it does look pretty cool in said position. So anyway, there is the Demi Barding completely loaded up. That's backpack and rifle and everything, and this is awesome. Suits CHU-CHU to an absolute T, and like I've mentioned multiple times throughout this review so far, I can't wait to see this getting down to some serious business, especially considering the unique aspects of the mobile suit. So now jumping into the articulation on the Demi Barding, and for the most part this is a rock solid kit. I did have a couple of issues with it, but for the most part it is rock solid. This is based on the Demi Trainer and CHU-CHU'S Demi Trainer, which I had zero issues with, but this one I've got a bit of a wiggly arm for some reason. I'm not sure if the joint got a little bit strange during the review or something like that, but the right arm, well, from our perspective, is giving me a little bit of jip. Also, the elbows have given out a couple of times throughout the review. Twice, exactly one couple of times, where basically the front of the arm has popped off, and then the C-clip inside has just kind of let the arm fall off at the elbow. But then again, that didn't happen with the other ones. That's just this for some strange reason. Anyway, onto that test pose, and when it comes to the test pose, this thing is so much fun to pose. This has a really cool locking mechanism towards the back of the waist unit, which is a very nice design. It's simple but effective and gives you a lot of nice rocking forward and back. All of the joints give you a lot. Sure, the elbows are just single bends, but everything about it just works so well. And the big backpack round back means that you've got a little extra to work with to make it even that more dynamic. This is definitely the apex of the Demi line, and this looks like it and feels like it. Just be a little bit careful with the joints. So that right there is it for the review, and I'm a little bit torn by this. First off, a couple of parts did fall off on me, but that could be my own fault, so I'm not going to hold that against it. The other is the color separation here isn't the greatest, and what's going on up at the shoulders is a little bit, actually a lot of bit of a disappointment. If we actually had some color separation on the grays up there, this would out and out be platinum tier just like CHU-CHU'S version was. But on the other hand, we do have that kick-arse backpack round back with so much going on it. So because of that, I feel that does outweigh the fact that the stickers do kind of suck on the shoulder. So I'm going to go with what I went with when I did review CHU-CHU'S version of this suit, and I'm going to go with platinum tier. It just scraped it though, by the way. It's a solid, awesome kit, nice build, great design, very unique, but those stickers a little bit of a killer. If stickers are something you absolutely hate, then consider it more of a gold tier kit. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching. If you want one of your own, link down there in the description. And as always, I will see you next time. Once again, this video right here, and none of these videos would be possible without each and every single one of you guys who watches my videos, and special thanks to those of you who are supporting me over on Patreon and here on the channel memberships, including 10 Soldier YT, Caleb Engelhart, Dashil Marmion, Go Little Rockstar, Joe, Lauren Seahack, RG59061, and Van Fawn.